Welcome to Ain't Gonna Cut It podcast, a podcast where disabilities, real life chaos, and personal growth collide. We're laughing, learning, and sometimes limping through life, but quitting, that ain't gonna cut it. I actually really liked that. That was fucking slang.
That was really good. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ain't Gonna Cut It podcast. My name is Chloe Crust, if you didn't know already. Today we're going to be talking about some facts, some stories, some stuff that you need to know if you don't already, okay? So I do have my phone here, so please don't mind that. I can't remember all of these stats off the top of my head. I'm not a genius, okay? Here's something wild. Did you know that over 1 billion people globally have a disability? That's 15% of the world's population. And in Australia alone, over 4.4 million people identify as having a disability. That's 1 in 5 of us. We are not rare. We're not broken. We're just scattered around, okay? We're disconnected. The real issue isn't our existence. It's the systems, the narratives, and the social structures that make us feel like we don't exist. That's why connection is so damn important, okay? That's why this podcast now exists, because the more we share our stories, the more we realize we're not alone, and we never, ever were. Let's take that in for a second. Let's take that in. So every time you go to the shops, every time you see 5 people, one of those people has a disability. Now, do you think you should probably learn about disabilities then? If you're thinking no, then you're silly, babe. You're silly. Everybody needs to learn. When you maybe are 90, 100, do you think you're going to be fully able to do everything in your life? Probably not. Okay. Everybody is going to experience some kind of disability in their life, whether that's breaking a leg, their collarbone, anything. Okay. It is really, really important to carry around with you that knowledge and kindness around with you. Walking around, we don't judge. Okay. We take people as who they are. We don't make sly comments. We don't do that shit. Okay. If you're listening to this podcast and you do this shit, get off, turn it off. Okay. That's embarrassing, guys. That's embarrassing. I want you guys to think of a time where you felt uncomfortable after seeing someone with a disability. Okay. And I want you to think about why you feel uncomfortable. Why do you feel uncomfortable? Is it because you don't know? Is it because you've never seen anyone like that before? Is it simply you just being like, ooh, standoffish, like, whoa, I didn't realize that. Okay? So we can fix these reactions, okay? Simply reading up, learning, listening, looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. When we think about social isolation, we are basically isolating ourselves. So if we can learn about everybody, do we think social isolation is going to eventually disperse there? And this doesn't just go for people with disabilities. This goes for every race. This goes for every religion. Having a certain respect for people's goals, their core values, okay? There's no reason, like if you want yourself to be respected in that way, you need to respect others the same. If your mum ever told you anything, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't stare at someone for 20 minutes if you're not going to go up and talk to them. That's rude. So I'm going to tell you a little story from when I was very, very young and I wasn't aware that I was different. I was still processing, understanding, learning about other people with a disability, right? Look how I'm holding this mic. Let's go. Balancing this shit. We can do anything. So getting to my story, I'm probably maybe 10 at this point. So I am with my sister and my mum. We are at some cute little cafe thing in like a bit of a shopping center. And my mum's ordered breakfast, and then I'm getting a banana smoothie. Bananas, delicious, love them. I got my banana smoothie, I'm drinking, whatever. I'm looking around. I was very I don't want to say unconscious, but I just wasn't aware of everything that was going on in my life. I was ADHD, PTSD, a little bit of everything, okay, in the mix, and did not get diagnosed or medicated till 2 years ago. So you can imagine me in this state being bullied. The only thing I was really holding on to was swimming. Okay, so I look up, into the corner and I see a gentleman in a wheelchair and he's drooling and he's enjoying his meal. Now, me at this point in time had never seen anybody like this before, ever in my life, okay? I was taken aback. I got scared. I was really worried. I was like, Mom, like, is he okay? Like, have you seen this? And she's like, yeah, I've seen him. It's okay. People are different. You're different. And I sort of went, oh, fuck, you're right. I am different. And that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And simply me having that reaction was purely because I had never seen that before. I'd never been in the presence. I'd never had that full body like reaction to someone being physically very, very different to anybody else, right? So that, I guess, is sort of what everybody is facing 24/7 if you have never seen or never learnt about people or anything around the scope of disability. Even just looking up the different kinds of disabilities and reading up on them, you are going to change your whole perspective over life, okay? Over the whole population and the respect for just a human being. When I look at someone with a disability, I don't see their disability. I see them, and that's how it should be. So if you're looking at someone and you get worried, you need to work on that. That is not a them issue. If you put that on them, you're a bad person. You're a bad person. You need to stop that. You just need to stop. Take yourself away. If you do allow that reaction to occur, how is that person going to feel? If you switched those positions and you were that person in the wheelchair, how would you feel? Goes back to if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. If you're going to be worried and freak out about someone, maybe focus on your own life. Okay? So what I want you guys to do, next time that you're walking around or whatever and you see someone with a disability, give them a smile. Give them a wave. Okay? You don't understand how much that can change someone's fucking day, especially with a disability. This goes for everyone, okay? Everybody has shit going on. You should smile at whoever just because you can. I'm saying that the impact in terms of social isolation with someone with a disability, getting that constant, like, scared, like, what the fuck? That is so disabling to the point where I wouldn't even go outside. I went to a big shopping center when I was about, like, the last time that I went on my own, like a couple of years ago. Like, I had gotten a support worker after a year of not accepting help. I guess sort of in a way, you want to prove yourself. You don't want to have help. You don't want to be treated differently. You want to be seen as just a normal person. I used to hide my arm. I used to wear baggy clothes, hide my body, everything, because I simply just wanted to be perceived as a normal goddamn person. I didn't want that to be my identity. Look, now I understand disability is a part of me. That is something that I hated putting on myself because to me, I wasn't disabled. Growing up and learning, oh my God, wait, you do need help with this. You actually do need extra supports in this. Or yeah, your back is actually getting really bad and you can't keep neglecting it because you just want to be normal. That's not going to work in the long term, is it? So I finally accepted supports, accepted a little bit of help, and eventually ended up going to this big shopping center. Now, the anxiety was very, very debilitating. I was like, didn't want to get out of the car, like heart pumping, like probably like 190 per minute, like crazy, okay? I held her hand, we walked in, and the first thing that I predicted happened. Getting stared at. There was a little boy, got ripped away by his mom because he saw me. That is another thing. If you are a parent and you have a child who is scared of someone with a disability purely because it's their first time on earth and they've never seen it before and you rip them away, they are always going to be fucking scared of them now. Do you get that? So if you're walking through the shopping center as a parent and you smile at someone with a disability and they freak out and they look at you and go, Mom, who is that? Why are you smiling at them? They're just a little bit different. And everybody deserves to feel happy. Everybody deserves to get a smile, whatever. Just explain to your child why there is no need to be afraid. You get what I'm saying? So I walk in, stared at, which is always a constant. It just, I guess this would be for anybody. It just gets too much sometimes. So I walk in holding her hand. I'm like kind of shutting down a bit, and we walk forward and to the left, and we just start walking down on the top level. We stick to the left-hand side and we just keep walking. And she finally speaks to me because she just let me like calm down, whatnot. She's like, what's the first thing that you need to do? I'm like, this. She's like, okay, let's just go to that store. And she taught me how to stay in my own bubble in a way and not take all of those stares and snarky looks or all of that, or even just strangers coming up and talking to me. First of all, that's very unsafe. Like, I don't know any of these people and they all want to know what happened. I'm like, setting boundaries as well with strangers, figuring out how to tell them that it's not okay without being rude. So for example, if like I'm walking down and I'm getting stared at the entire way down and I look away, I look back to make sure, he's still looking, try and figure out, is he actually looking at my arm? And I confirm that when they walk past me, I'll be looking down, walking. I'll look up, they'll be staring directly at my arm, and I'll put my head down. He's staring at my arm. I go and look back at him. The reaction that I get is like, oh, or it's, oh, I'm sorry, or I wasn't looking, or like, yes, you were. Just stop it. It's like you've never seen someone with a disability before in your life. And a lot of people have it. Dealing with that every day is insane. So teach your children, speak to your support systems, figure out how to get yourself to that spot slowly. Now I go like twice a week. I almost like used exposure therapy to get myself to this point. Sometimes that's kind of the only way, because when it literally feels like the entire world is against you and wants to know what happened, it's so easy to just go into a hole. Okay, there is a certain kind of mental strength that you need to have when you have a disability. Everybody has it. Why do you think I respect them all? Why do you think I see them as a real person? Because they've been through so much shit compared to a lot of the rest of us. So even if you see someone that is staring, there's no reason why you can't tap them on the shoulder and go, what are you looking at? People don't get slapped in the face anymore these days, and it really fucking shows. Okay? I wish I could go up to them and whack, and whack you and throw this at you. Like, that's what it feels like. When I'm walking through those shopping centers, that's what it feels like. So if you can put yourself in a little bubble and go, what they perceive is what they perceive, what they think is what they think. I can only do what I can do. And that's A, giving them a smile, B, educating them, and C, pretending like you don't give a fuck. Because I also feel like they almost like prey on your reaction a little bit, which isn't the best thing and can end not the best. So it's important, but take everything that I've said with a grain of salt, because these things take time. It's not just going to happen overnight. Having a community, having people that you feel like understand what you're going through is number one. We are literally going to end up in a world where there's more people with disabilities than without. You think about, you look at the stats, there's more people being born with a disability these days than back in the 1900s. So let me put that up on the screen for you and let that sink in. This is important. You need to learn. If you do not, you're going to be at a disadvantage like I am my whole life. So do what you can. Please, I'm literally begging. I'm begging. Please. Going back to the story. I obviously ended up leaving. I didn't eat anything. I don't know if I actually got anything ordered, but it did put me off my food, and I went home and sort of was still very worried and whatnot. And I was always a swimmer. Upon getting to state and nationals and whatnot, I was seeing a lot more disabilities, which sort of broadened my perspective and desensitized me to different disabilities. That's probably the best way to do it. Get yourself to a point where you're unfazed by it, because when you end up in a wheelchair when you're 80, You don't want to be going through being scared, not knowing how to put the wheel on, not knowing which shopping centers are accessible. All of these little things are not irrelevant. They are real and they're necessary, and you need to learn them before it's too late. Okay? There's going to be a point where if you don't learn this stuff, you can't help yourself. Hello? Isn't that what you're doing every day? Helping yourself, trying to do better. Even if you're bedridden and you're depressed and you're laying on your bed 24/7, you're trying. You're thinking, how do I get out of this? How do I do this? One step at a goddamn time, okay? You're laying in your bed depressed. You've got a phone. You can still learn. You have a roof over your head. You have a bed. You have pajamas on your body. There is so many things to be grateful for. So a lot of like activity groups and whatnot have also helped me. So I went to AMP camp. So this was a camp for amputees, just like me. I was born with one arm. However, amputee, whatever, I guess I'll come under the category. This camp was purely for people with amputations, all shapes, sizes, ages, and that literally saved my life. I tell everybody about this camp because it saved my goddamn life. Before this, I'd been around disabilities. I was training. I was going to state competitions. I knew of disabilities everywhere. But I had never connected with someone with one arm like me who got it on my level. So when I went to this AMP camp, I made like 4 really great friends. I'm still mutuals with 2 of them. We check in on each other. These are the things that are really, really important. Having just one person that gets it, even if they're online, even if you've never met them. I couldn't even find someone with one arm or a TikToker or a podcaster or a YouTuber with one arm. I couldn't go online shopping or whatnot and see someone with one arm. No, I couldn't do any of that. There was no concrete evidence in front of me to go, you are accepted, you do belong, other people understand and they like you and they're living through the same challenges that you are. I never had that. Yeah, I knew we existed, but I'd never seen it. And that's the difference. That's why I'm doing this, guys, okay? So I challenge you to try and find someone who, if you are living with a disability, who is living with the same condition as you. Reach out, text them, follow them on social media, learn what you can learn and understand that you aren't alone. Give yourself that proof. Give it to yourself. You can find it. Back in the day in like, I shouldn't say back in the day, but like 2010 or so. Dude, you would never, ever see someone on a billboard with a disability. I literally would sob about this because it was just so upsetting to me. And I think as well, that comes into how you look and trying to fit in and just so much shit. We'll talk about that next week, okay? We'll talk about making friends and body image and whatnot, especially with a disability, and how much harder that it really does make it to connect with people. Like I said, challenge. Are you going to accept it? If you don't, I'm going to be real disappointed, guys. I'm going to be disappointed. And if you don't have a disability, I challenge you to look up a disability and learn about it. And maybe if you can't think of anything or you don't know of anything, do you know someone with a disability? You probably do. Maybe your grandma or whatnot in a wheelchair? There you go. Talk to her. Learn about what she lives with day to day, her daily challenges and her perspective on life. I promise you, you will learn something. That's all we have time for this week. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments down below and I will be sure to answer them next week. I love you guys. Have an amazing week and good luck. Bye. I actually really liked that. That was fucking slay. That was really good.